Thank you, Mayor Hopkins. So it's now my honor and pleasure to introduce our Senator Jack Reed. I've probably said this multiple times when he's come to the library, but he is truly the #1 library champion in our country in Congress. And he's always supporting not just the Cranston Public Library, libraries across the nation with important legislation to help fund innovative programs at libraries, give federal funding to library programs around the country. And he actually has a new piece of legislation that's been introduced that we asked him to talk about today, the Build America Libraries Act. And this is such an important piece of legislation where it gives funds to states to actually do library construction and renovations. And we all know how expensive it can be to make sure you have up-to-date infrastructure and building new projects to make sure that you're filling the needs of your community. So having federal funding to do that would be an amazing help to libraries across the country. And here in Cranston, we have some ideas that might help us improve library services, especially in our Ward 3, where we have the most diverse population in the city, also one of the most economically diverse areas in the city, and a lot of transportation problems, and the people that live in that community can't always make it to the central library. So we've been looking to improve library services in that area of the city for a long time, and I can really see a use for this funding if this act were to pass Congress to be able to help us realize that goal. So without further ado, I am really honored to introduce Senator Jack Reed.
Well, first let me thank Ed Gasha and his whole staff for their extraordinary work in Cranston. Thank you particularly for that very kind introduction, but one of the remarkable aspects of the Cranston library system is not just the books and the structures and the access, it's the people. And it's no accident they won this award. Let me recognize the mayor, our dear friend for many years. Ken, good luck. Let me also recognize former Mayor Alan Fong, whose support for the library was absolutely critical to its progress over these years. So thank you very much, Alan. And I'm delighted to be here to celebrate this award. This is an extraordinary award. In fact, it demonstrates that libraries are launching pads. A man named Jerry Kline began his career designing and developing software working at the University of California, Berkeley Library in the 70s. And he is the benefactor today. Another young man who grew up in Cranston and used to walk up to the steps of the Auburn Public Library, when, as you all recall, was located at a park in Woodbine Street, myself, is here today to say that's what helped propel me forward. Access to libraries, and also the care and consideration of the librarians, who, other than telling you to be quiet, would actually help you find books. So the Auburn Public Library and the Berkeley have a lot in common. They've let people move forward. And the Cranston Library has always been, to me, a real special treasure. And I'm delighted, and my thanks go to Rebecca, and particularly to Leslie and everyone at the Gerald M. Kline Family Foundation for recognizing the Cranston Library. This prize is going to be well used. It's going to allow the library to continue its great efforts, to extend its reach, enhance the library's vital impact, and open up a world of opportunity for the next generation of library users. And I was touched because of the foresight of Ed to be looking at areas of diversity and economic challenge and say, we need a library there, because that will be an engine of not only growth, but equitable growth, which is so critical to our country today. It's a well-deserved recognition for a great library. And I want to just point out that the range of what libraries do today, there's a presumption, I think, about many people that it's just a place where you go get a book. Well, it's not. It's adult literacy, it's ESL training, it's technology training, and Cranston has been the forefront of this. I always tell a story. I was struck. I went up to the Pawtucket Library, and I walked in midday. There was a few people in the reading room. There was other people wandering around, and I went and saw this line outside this room, and I walked up, and I What's going on? I said, well, that's our computers. And we have to reserve them for 20 minutes and then you have to leave, etc. Stop and think about it. You can't get a job today unless you can get on a computer, because it's not like the old days. You went in and gave your application to the nice person behind the desk and then you waited for a call. You can't contact relatives across the globe these days without access to a computer. And we're fortunate, many of us, to have that sort of without any second thoughts. It's just there. But for a lot of Rhode Island, a lot of Americans, it's not there. And the libraries are what makes the difference. So this is a time where the libraries are even more crucial for our communities. Now, and I know Ed and the staff have been working, getting grants from here and efforts from here. And they've been assisted by Karen Mello, who's our great state library director. Thanks, Karen, for what you do. And one of their impediments, not just in Cranston, but across the state, has been infrastructure. Libraries are out of date. They were built 200 years ago. They just don't function any longer. And so that's why I introduced the Build America's Library Act. My legislation would provide $5 billion over 3 years to help build and modernize libraries across the country. And it includes addressing the concerns of COVID-19, things that we really weren't thinking about. The HVAC system was important, et cetera, but now we realize how critical it is to have a system that functions effectively. That's just one example. And we want to be able also to allow the libraries to serve more of our population, and as Ed pointed out, a more diverse population. And that requires being there, not just one location in the city and hope people make it. It's being in those communities. And these federal funds could be utilized to help build new libraries, renovate and modernize facilities to better meet the evolving needs that I've already talked about. Public libraries are a common good. They're a critical component of America's education network, connecting people to information, technology, and opportunities for advancement. They've always been that. And now we need them so much, I think, more than even in the past. And they provide so many services, serving children, seniors, job seekers, as I mentioned. And we have to go ahead and provide better support. And this infrastructure support is critical to that. Now, we're going to get through this pandemic. And when we do get through this pandemic, we're going to find we have different demands. And guess what? The libraries are perfectly positioned to help us with those demands. Many jobs not coming back. Virtual meetings, I don't have to tell anyone in this room, they're not going away. Having access to information instantaneously and all of that. Libraries will play the role of helping to instruct people about new jobs, new techniques, and new technology. And so this is not about the past, this is also about the future. Now, I will be continuing to working at the federal level to make sure this is done. We've got some great support. Senator Wyden, Chairman of the Finance Committee, is one of the co-sponsors. So we're looking to seize the moment in every community that benefits from a public library. We're looking to build allies. We're looking to support this legislation and rebuild our library structure. And just like Jerry Kline did and continues to do with financial awards like this, we're investing in the future of America. Thanks, Ed. A well-deserved award. Thank you all.